All right, the senior division speaker number 3 will be speaking on topic number 2. Topic number 2 is as follows. The 7 ecumenical councils are regarded as 7 of the most important parts of church history, which came after the completion of the Bible. Pick one of the councils and explain why it is important. Speaker number 3.
Reverend Fathers, honorable judges, fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The 7 ecumenical councils laid the foundation of our faith. A lot of people would jump the gun and like to say that the first ecumenical council, the first council of Nicaea, should be the one to talk about. This council laid the foundation for our faith. The canon, dogma, and most importantly, the Nicene Creed are also known as a confession of our faith. But what council do we all know about, but really don't know? The 7th ecumenical council is the one we all know, but did not realize is this council. The best way to illustrate this is through the Sunday of Orthodoxy. All of us know about the Sunday of Orthodoxy, the procession where we take our icons around and we go around the church and celebrate the usage of icons from the iconoclastic reign. To give a background to where the iconoclast did come from, it was during the time of the Muslim conquest of the East. The Byzantines were losing battles to the Muslim Umayyad Emirate invaders, and they decided to blame it on the icons. And this is where the idea of iconoclasm came from, and where iconoclastic rulers came into play in the Byzantine Empire. Now, if the overturning of iconoclastic heretics never happened, where would we be now? How would you feel if the next time you walked into church, you didn't see any icons? How would you feel if all the walls were just blank? It doesn't feel right. Icons are a fundamental part of the church, and having it disappear is something that is really, really hard to think about. And through the grace of God, though, St. John of Damascus helped us break through the iconoclast, and now we have what we have today. St. John was a fundamental aspect in the laying the foundation of not just theology of iconography, but he was also an excellent hymnographer, but more known for his theology. That being so, he is a patron saint of icon painters and of theology students, which, for me, the latter being very important because I wish to go into seminary and study theology. But the way he counters the iconoclastic ways so gracefully is beautiful. The first argument he makes is regarding the cherubim on the Ark of the Covenant, saying, "The cherubim are not outside of creation. Why then does he allow cherubim carved by the hand of man to overshadow the mercy seat?" Him saying this encapsulates perfectly with the idea of creation of icons, and that the creation of them is not considered idolatry in the sense that we think. But the one that we really need to look at, that talks about iconography, in the sense is that we look at him saying, "Just as they are truly God's, not by nature, but as partakers of God's nature, so they are to be venerated, not by nature, but having in themselves that which is venerable by nature." This statement, talking about the past saints, perfectly counters the idea that the iconoclasts had then and what the Protestants believe now, and that this idea of worshiping either the wood of the icon or the person of the icon. This is reasonable to think from an outside perspective, but there's a reason behind it, and St. John perfectly puts into picture what icons are meant for. The veneration of those who have achieved the level of holiness that is absolutely humbling, and we ask for their intercessions. But the one argument that finally set in stone our victory over the iconoclast reign is that of the cross. The cross is something that we all look up to at least, I hope, as the tree of life, the counterpart of the tree of good and evil, and it is what has granted us eternal life. Christ dying on the cross and resurrecting on the 3rd day is what we look up to. It's our faith. But as the Apolitikion of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross says, "Save, O Lord, your people, and bless your inheritance. Grant victory to the faithful over your adversaries, and protect your commonwealth by the power of your cross. Protect your commonwealth by the power of your cross. We look to the cross for protection. According to iconoclast ideas, the cross would be something we can't look to, as it is just wood. And that would go against their ideas. So what? Would they not look to the cross for protection? That obviously is a very strong assumption and a reach, but it is something we need to think about. So to tie this in all together, I'd like to take a look at what all I've said and rope it in all together. This idea that the iconoclasts had, that icons are idolatry, stemmed from their losing to the Muslims in the wars during this time. So Byzantine rulers then became iconoclastic. St. John of Damascus was a scholar who had lived in Muslim Syria and had studied Islam to refute and contradict Islamic beliefs. But along with this, he became very well known for being an apologetic at the time, and he had very sound reasoning for iconography, and he was able to push back against the iconoclastic reign and was able to bring back iconography, where we now celebrate this on the first Sunday of Lent, the Sunday of Orthodoxy. And because of these triumphs during this council, we still have icons in our churches, and we still have the possibility to venerate and ask for intercessions from those in the icons. Thank you.